Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Dice Tower. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello.
And I'm the podfather of gaming, Stephen Bonacore.
And joining us today is one of our Kickstarter backers and special guest, Casey. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you, gentlemen.
So, Casey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I live in St. Louis, work for the military, just recently relocated. Excited St. Louis has a great gaming community, and I'm hoping to be able to get out there and meet some new people.
That's definitely the case. St. Louis is a great place for gaming. I know that there's some great game stores there. Well, I mean, Geekway to the west is there, so
Fantastic.
And
invention.
Geekway, it really is. I mean, and it's considering it really draws in a lot of locals. That means that area is just teeming with gamers in the wild.
Absolutely.
So, alrighty, well, Casey, we're glad to have you on board, and we're going to have a game show, you versus Z. Mr. Bonacore's along too, but we're already assuming he'll get third. So let's jump to some contributors, and we'll get started with the game show.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
Today we're talking about Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game. This is kind of like an LCG where you are building a deck, you're going to battle with it. However, because it's not a CCG, there's no rarity, you're not having to chase down all these expensive cards. It's all right there in the box. In this game, we are all these super hip, super trendy gangs of vampires. We are fighting in the streets of San Francisco. All the players at the table are our enemies, but only one of them is our rival. Hence the point of the game, and that's why the name of the game.
So everybody knows that vampires are notoriously bad at sleeping, right? I mean, you just see them all the time, or they're hiding. You know, they kind of look like disheveled because they haven't had a good night's rest.
Except for these ones, these are really put
really
together.
They are really put together. So speaking of that, I find that when I sleep well consistently, that it does a lot of things for me. I eat better, my workouts are better, and that when I sleep well consistently, I'm actually encouraged to go to bed at a better time. So that way I keep that cycle going. And one tip I found that works for me is, I don't do it all the time, I should do it all the time, but about a half hour to an hour before I go to bed, I try not to look at any screens. It just kind of tricks my mind or gets my mind ready to shut off to sleep.
Yeah, and plus getting enough sleep helps my temperament, so I don't turn into a vampire.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys, this was a lot of fun. I loved building those decks. It comes with 4 decks kind of pre-constructed, and then gives you a chance to kind of modify and customize those. This is an expandable card game, so obviously there's going to be more sets, more chances to modify, customize your decks, have a whole bunch of decks for all I know, and that way you can kind of battle them out. I thought that was really fun. I really enjoyed deck construction.
I totally did not know what to do with this game. I've never played a game like that. I wasn't sure I was going to like it, like Bethany Rivals. Who knows? Spoiler alert, Bethany likes Rivals. Just so we all know. Well, everybody, if you want to find more from us, you can find us on Facebook or YouTube. We're Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. This is Ryan and Bethany, hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast.
Bye everybody.
Hi, I'm Jordan. This is Weeknight Games, where I talk about a game that works well on a weeknight. And this is Micro Macro. This just won the Spiel des Jahres in Germany, and I think it was a really excellent winner. This is a Sherlock Holmes meets Where's Waldo, which super innovative and creative, and just frankly a ton of fun. In this game, you're going to have a black and white picture with all these cartoon pictures on it, and it is not a snapshot in time. It's going to show movement, so you're going to see the same characters throughout this picture, and you're trying to answer these questions. So you're going to have, each case is going to have a little tiny deck of cards, like 4 or 5 cards, and it's going to ask you a question like, you know, where is this person? What are they carrying? Where did they go? Who stole it? And where did they run off to? That kind of thing. You're just trying to solve this little mystery. And it works super well. So what makes it work for a weeknight? You literally, you can learn how to play the game on the box. The box literally says, get started right away, and it gives you a case to solve on the front of the box. It's that easy to get into. And then whenever you're playing these cases, it comes with 16, 20, not that many cases, but it's a fair amount in the box. And each one only takes like 10, 15 minutes, depending on how quickly you can find these things on the sheet. So it plays really quickly, really easy to get into, and it's not very difficult. So I've talked about other kind of puzzle room, escape room style detective kind of games on this segment, this is probably the lightest of those, and it takes the least amount of brain power after a long day. You could do one or two of these, and you feel a little clever. It's fun looking for things, and it's just really satisfying when it comes to the end, because it's also a little funny, and it works super well. That's Micro Macro. Check this one out if you're into just when I say Where's Waldo Meets Sherlock Holmes. If that sounds cool to you, check it out, because that sounds cool to me, and I really like it. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
Good morning. Wait, I already said that. Welcome to the game show. Well, it's still a good morning. Nothing's changed. All right, I'm gonna start giving out bonus points. Casey's is treating me properly. We're gonna do the poll show where it's Bonacor versus Casey versus Z, and they're gonna be guessing what you all think. For those of you who are watching, I'm gonna put 6 different polls up in here, and you're gonna try to guess. If you guess the answer that the second most people voted for, you will get 5 points. If you guess the third most voted for answer, you'll get 3 points. 2 points for fourth place, nothing for fifth place. If you pick the first place answer, you give both of your opponents 2 points. And if you pick the sixth place answer, you give both your opponents 1 point. So points are going around unless you pick fifth place. So let's try not to do that. So I put the first poll in the comments, folks. So check the comments out if you want to vote. Here we go. When you're looking for a new home, which area would you hold in the highest priorities? We were just talking about moving. So if you're moving to a new place, which of these things is like the most important to you? All right. And I'm not asking you guys. I'm asking the people. So the bathroom, the kitchen, the bedrooms, the living room, the yard, or the garage. All right. So the bathroom, the kitchen, bedrooms, living room, yard, garage. And we're going to start with Mr. Bonacor, since you are moving here for the first time.
I'm moving? All right, because I moved?
Well, you moved out of your house, and then you moved back in your house.
Huge remodeling project. So you're asking, what do you put the most emphasis
right, like
on?
if you're going to look at a house and you're like, I really love the what?
The price.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't put. That's a different thing. I could have put price, location, neighborhood, shopping areas.
Repeat the way you said it to everybody, because that's important. Say it. The question.
When finding a new home, which area would you hold in highest priority?
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go. This is tough. It's because I'm gonna hit the number one pretty easily with this, but I'm gonna go bedroom.
Okay.
You're trying to avoid the number
Yes,
one, aren't you?
yes,
Like,
I know, but
both important things.
yeah, I know. I probably shouldn't have picked that, but because I know 1, 2.
All right,
Okay,
Casey,
so
what do you got? Casey's next.
Having just moved, I mean, this was forefront of my mind. So I don't want to go for what I think is number one. I'm going to go yard.
Hey.
Oh.
Right. Okay. Z?
You guys are both playing it super safe. It's got to be. I mean, I think we're all thinking the same thing. It's like bathroom and kitchen at the top. I think we're all kind of in agreement with those two at the top. I'm gonna go with. I think kitchen's gonna be 1, so I'm gonna go bathroom. I'm gonna take a gamble on bathroom as being the number 2 answer.
Okay. Now, before I tell you people's choice here, what would be your number 1?
The way I was viewing it is that the number of bedrooms basically is the most important thing. So I picked bedroom, even though, yeah, that would mean I'm going for number 1, but then not everybody's going to view it that way. So I think it might slide to number 2. That's how I viewed it.
Wow.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying
thing. Wow.
I say what's important to you.
Bedrooms, number of bedrooms.
All right, Z?
Probably the kitchen.
And Casey?
Yeah, definitely number of bedrooms, but I was thinking more what the bedrooms look like. So
Yeah,
kitchen was my number 1.
Depends
And
on
for
how
me, it would be the bathrooms. I really want a really nice bathroom. All right. So the number 6 answer, which no one picked, was the garage. The number 5 answer, which very few people pick, surprisingly, and gives no points to Z, is bathroom.
Wow.
Number 4 is the yard. Which that gives Casey 2 points. Number 3 is bedrooms, giving Mr. Bonacor 3 points. Living room has 2, and by far number 1 is kitchen.
That's weird. People were thinking of the number of bedrooms, I think, which is not the same thing.
Yeah, the number of bedrooms is like crucial to families.
It is, but that wasn't the question. Also,
it is the question. It's what do you look at?
No, the bedroom is like a big box.
Do not let me come down there.
The kitchen
Here's
matters.
our next question. Here's our next question. These are all actual products. I want to know which of these sounds the worst of these actual products. We have ranch dressing soda, ketchup ice cream, peanut butter and jelly sushi, cappuccino potato chips, Krispy Kreme sloppy Joe, and pumpkin spice spam. Which of these sounds the worst? These are all real things that I found. We have ranch dressing soda, ketchup ice cream, peanut butter and jelly sushi, cappuccino potato chips, Krispy Kreme sloppy Joe, and pumpkin spice spam.
First of all,
ranch
anybody
soda,
who would buy any
ice
of these
cream.
things, don't call me anymore. You're just too strange.
Wow, that's rude. That's
ranch
rude.
Soda, ketchup ice cream, PB&J sushi. What else?
By the way, since he said don't call him, if you haven't done that, you can call him. On your screen, we're going to flash his personal number.
It's so nice of you. Wow. So there's no good answer to this one, that's for sure.
What else did we have, Tom? That was too many words. Ranch soda, ketchup ice cream, PB&J sushi. What else?
Cappuccino potato chips, Krispy Kreme sloppy Joe, which is 2 Krispy Kreme donuts with sloppy Joe stuff in between them.
Krispy Kreme sloppy Joe. Okay.
Sloppy Joe. And
then what
pumpkin
else?
spice spam.
Pumpkin spice spam.
All right, Casey, you're first.
What are we picking here? The worst or the best?
You're picking whatever you think people's. Yeah, which of these sounds the worst?
The worst. Which you sound the worst.
This is so subjective. I absolutely hate ranch dressing. I don't think this will be number 1 because other people love it, but I'm going to go ranch soda.
Well, here's the question. How many ranch sodas? Because if we're going by what happened last question, this is garbage.
You don't even know.
Is it a 6-pack? Is it a 6-pack of sodas?
You're projecting onto the people for the last question anyway. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Of course I'm projecting. It's my defense mechanism.
All right, Z, what's your answer?
They all sound great. I'll start there. I'd be happy to try all of these. I am going to go with the worst. I think the biggest offender here is, I think, ketchup ice cream. But if that's number 1, I think it would be, then cappuccino potato chips. People might like that. I'll say that. Cappuccino potato chips.
That's the least offensive thing on here. I want to try those. I would buy those right now. If anybody out there can send me some. All right.
Well, what are you picking then?
I'm picking the most offensive food on the list, and therefore with the ridiculous flavor. I'm going to pick pumpkin spice spam. Right? Right.
That is correct. All righty. Well, the number 1 answer by a mile is ranch dressing soda.
Wow.
So Casey, being a generous
take
guest, gives Z and Bonacor ketchup was number 2.
I love
number
you, Casey.
3 was pumpkin spice spam.
Woo-hoo!
Number 4 and 5 was a tie, peanut butter and jelly and Krispy Kreme sloppy Joe. And only one person voted for cappuccino potato chips. So here's our current scores. Mr. Bonacor has 9. Casey has 3. And Z has 2.
Oh man, I'm
And
terrible
that-
with this.
I'm so good at
Well,
this.
you're just not like everybody else, okay? All right. Space and money being no option. Which of these do you get for your home?
6 bedrooms.
Okay. No, of these 6 things. So this is like these are like luxurious items. So we have pinball game, a pinball machine, pool table, hot tub, huge aquarium, a giant TV, or a bar cabinet. We all know which one Mr. Bonacor would get, but I'm asking the people. Pinball game, pool table, hot tub, huge aquarium, giant TV, or a bar cabinet. So like which would the people get? If it didn't, space and money wasn't the problem, because some of these it's money, some of them might be space, it could be both.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the space, which of these would you get for your nerd cave?
Wow.
And Z, you're going to be going first this time.
Okay, I'm gonna hedge my bets here and hope that this slips to 2, but I'm gonna say pinball.
All right. And that leads us to Mr. Bonacor.
Yeah.
Do it,
TV,
Steven.
Yeah, TV could win this.
I got 3 words for you, Steven. Glug, glug, glug.
Not picking bar cabinet. Tough one. I'm gonna go with the aquarium.
That's last for sure.
Nah, the bar cabinet's last.
All right, Casey, what do you got here?
Now I'm stuck between the ones that I think could go 1 and 2, trying to figure out which one's not 1. I'm thinking either TV or hot tub would be number 1. So most people have TV. I'm gonna go TV.
All right.
I think it's a good choice. It could definitely be 2 because a lot of people have big TVs already. And
some of these
how big do you need them?
Yeah,
Mr.
some of these
Bonacor,
feel
what
kind of
was your choice
attainable.
again?
You know what I mean?
I had the
He
aquarium.
said, aquarium.
Got it.
Giant
Yeah,
aquarium.
some of these feel attainable, and some of them feel very frivolous. You know, like
I
giant TV feels attainable.
Yeah,
like you
I
can
want the one
save
with
up
the
and get a
shark.
giant TV.
I want with the shark swimming in it, and it like swims around you on a top. I think that would be amazing.
That would be cool.
That would be amazing. Come on.
So, this is much closer than the other votes. In last place is the bar cabinet.
Thank you. I know it.
Do you have one?
I'm doing a remodeling right now. It might contain a bar area. It might.
I like that. That might be my. That's
I
like my
didn't-
number 1 or 2, to be honest. I love that feature in a home.
I did
I
not
think it's
have.
a very cool, entertaining area.
Thank you. I did not have a bar at all until the remodeling, and now I have a very small bar area. Very, very small.
Well, yeah, because it's just you. Every night. All right.
I always want to go where everybody knows my name.
All right.
Like, go to
The
bed,
number 1
Steven,
answer.
Go to bed.
The number 1 answer is pool table. No one picked that, so good.
Number 1. Wow.
Number 1. Number 2,
I
just
did
a
write
couple.
down. I thought number 1 would be pool table, and I thought number 2 would be pinball, which is why I picked it. But I'm glad I got the number 1 at least.
Number 2 is hot tub, actually, just a couple votes behind. Then after that, huge aquarium.
Oh,
Actually tied with the giant TV. No, I'm sorry, giant TV is first, then huge aquarium.
Uh-oh.
Then pinball game came
so
in
nothing
fifth.
again. I'm 5th again. Great.
Yeah, so Z, your score is still 2. Casey, your score is now 6, and Mr. Bonacor is up to 11. But you're gaining on him, albeit quite slowly.
I'm coming for you.
Coming for you. Love it.
All righty, next one here. Which board game genre is too crowded? All right, we have dungeon crawlers, train games, deck building, roll and writes, war games, and worker placement games. This is a very random assortment here. Which of these board game genres is too crowded? And yes, possibly some of these aren't genres. Who cares? Dungeon crawlers, train games, deck building, roll and writes, war games, or worker placement. Do I need to read them again, or you guys got it?
Got it.
Yeah.
Love it. There's a bunch of good answers on here.
All right, Casey, you are going to be picking first today.
All right, that's tough. I think I am gonna go with worker placement.
All right.
Playing it safe, Casey. I see it. Playing it safe.
Hedging my bets here. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I got it. Who goes next? Z, I think.
It is Z, yes.
I'm gonna go with deck building.
All right.
A little riskier.
Okay. So the number one answer, I know this, is going to be dungeon crawlers. Whether or not that's actually, it's going to be the number one answer. Watch it.
Insane.
So I will go with roll and writes, which might be the number two answer.
You fell into my trap.
You fell into the
Roll and
trap.
Writes is definitely number one. Okay?
All right, let's see.
I published yesterday in my sleep 3 of them. Okay.
All right. So wait, what did you say again, Casey? You said?
I said worker placement.
Got it. Hang on one second. Okay, and Z, you said?
I said the correct answer, deck building.
Sure. All right.
There's too many deck building games, man.
All right, so the last answer is war games. No one picked that.
Right.
Then train games.
All right.
Then number 4, deck building.
What?
Hey, at least you got some points. Z.
I doubled my score, okay?
Then worker placement games.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Then number 2, and this wasn't even close. Like, this is the biggest spread we've had at all. Number 2 is dungeon crawlers. Rolling right, got 45% of the vote.
Are you insane, Mr. Boncourt?
I can't believe you didn't know that.
I knew that had to be number 1.
When you were a publisher, how many did you publish?
Oh, all of them.
Yeah.
And I love them.
And everybody was doing the same thing. There are a lot of these.
Everybody talks about how many dungeon crawlers can you have. You can have many roll and writes because most of them are like 20-minute games. How many 3-hour dungeon crawlers can you have? That's the point.
Well, apparently they make one dungeon crawler for every 200 roll and writes. Fact. All right. Here's
I
our
don't
score.
think about that.
Z, you're up to 6.
Wait, I thought I
Casey.
had only 2 before. How did I get
You
up
got
to
2
6?
from your
Okay.
answer, and Mr. Bonniger gave you 2.
Oh, that's right.
And Casey, you're up to 11. And Mr. Bonniger's still at 11. So it's tie game, 11-11-6.
I wanted to put you in contention, Casey. You're the guest. I want to put you
I
in contention.
appreciate that. I'll
If
take
they
it.
tie at the end, Tom, do they eliminate each other and I win? Is that how that works?
Sure. We'll let that be a rule. All right. Which of these stores would you shop at for fun? All right. So there's different stores. Which of these would you go shopping for fun? So home improvement store, craft store, pet store, bookstore, electronics store, or sporting equipment store. Which of these would you go to for fun? A home improvement store, a craft store, pet store, a bookstore, an electronics store, or a sporting equipment store?
Okay.
Who goes first?
Z is going to go first this time.
I am going to say an electronics store.
All right.
That scare you, Stephen?
I wanted
I'm gonna go in there and buy myself a Shark Tank.
Mr. Bonnicore, it's your turn.
Yeah, you're scared now.
I am. I'm now scared. Casey's. I'm not scared of you. I'm scared of Casey. Ferocious kind of guy. I'm going to go in a store I've been to a lot lately, a home improvement store.
All right.
People love them.
And Casey.
Fun?
And
Wow,
I was
okay.
going to go home improvement because, what percentage of these respondents are middle-aged homeowners?
Yeah, but the question was for fun, guys. Go in there just for fun. Not because you got to change stuff or fix something.
I could walk around.
Completing
Home Depot,
tasks is
Lowe's.
fun. I'm gonna go bookstore, I guess.
Ooh.
Number one answer. Very
I think
possible.
that might be number one.
Electronics or books?
Going
Number
big.
one.
All right,
Go
guys,
big, man. Go big.
everything just changed.
Yes.
All right.
I hope.
The last answer is home
Lord.
improvement store,
What?
which gives a point to Casey and Z. Number 5, sports equipment. Number 4, pet store. Number 3, craft store. Number 2, electronics store, giving Z 5. And number 1, bookstore. So this is what the scores look like currently. Casey's in last place with 12. He's only 1 point behind Mr. Boddicker, who has 13, who's 1 point behind Z with 14. 14,
I am flipping
13,
the table
and 12.
in a virtual manner.
Face, Monaco, you can keep all your shark aquariums. I want my 6 bedrooms. I want my bar cabinet.
There's one more old man question. Here we go.
No.
Which of these bothers you the most? Which of these bothers you the most? Being stuck in traffic.
Thinking the game is over and I won, and there's one more question. That's what bothers me the most.
Being stuck in traffic, long meetings, slow internet, visiting relatives, noisy neighbors, or car trouble. Which of these bothers you the most? Being stuck in traffic, long meetings, slow internet, visiting relatives, noisy neighbors, or car trouble.
Wow.
Wow.
What were the first two?
Being stuck in traffic and long
Are
meetings.
they not in order?
Yeah.
What was wrong?
Being stuck in traffic and long meetings, yes.
Okay, long meetings.
And the
stuck
question
in
is,
traffic.
which annoys
Which of
you
these
the most?
bothers you the most? Yes, or annoys, I guess, but I wrote what bothers you the most.
Bothers you the most?
Wow. They're all heavy hitters.
I had
Can I
personal experience with some of them.
Can I just take all of them and and give away some points or something? I don't know.
Okay, so not that.
It's not that. Yeah, it's not that.
Good news, Casey. This one is, I think it's yours to go first. Oh, no, is it? Wait. First. Who went first last time? It was Z, right?
I went second.
Yeah. Casey, it's your turn to go first.
Okay. Oh man. Now the pressure's on me. Everyone's got a.
I know which 3 I'm going for.
I ranked them all in my, when I did my own ranking of these. So let's see how this works out.
I'm gonna hope that I'm just gonna go for it and say getting stuck in traffic. Probably a bad answer, but.
All right. Getting stuck in traffic. Mr. Z, what do you want?
Casey picked the number 5 answer.
Baloney.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick the number 2 answer. Noisy neighbors.
No way. Oh, you're out of your mind. Now I have a choice. First of all, Casey
so
picked...
not everybody has their own ranch where you don't have neighbors, okay?
Your own compound with
a
a security guard and a butler.
None of those things. None of those things, everybody. So that or traffic or car troubles is number 1. But it could be right. So I'm gonna go with slow internet, which really
that's number 1.
Yes, no, it's not. You can.
That's number 1.
Car troubles are the worst thing in the world. I tried to start my car the other day. Pushed the button. It went AAA. Come on.
How did it go? I got you. I'm gonna diagnose this over the phone.
You want to diagnose it over the phone?
Go ahead.
They came in there. They replaced the
Do
battery.
it again.
Which I knew I had to have replaced because it's 5-year-old battery.
How's it go? That's your alternator, baby.
No, it was the battery.
It's your battery, but
Go
it
away.
could be your alternator. But it
Could have been. It was the battery.
You want to check your spark plugs, kid.
Get off my lawn. How come that's not on the list? Kids on the lawn.
Lawn trespassers.
Get off my lawn, you kids.
All righty, guys. We
We're
have
trying
a
to log on to
tie.
AOL.
We have a tie here. Well, I was hoping the tie would be broken. So the tie, the winner of the tie would be the person who picks the highest answer in the last question. All right?
Yeah.
Does that seem reasonable?
I feel like I just got screwed, but okay.
All right. Then the last answer here are 5 people picked this answer who are probably going through this right now with visiting relatives.
All right.
That
All
one,
day. So far, so
that
good.
that one's number 1 for you, depending on if it's happening. Right? If it's happening, that supersedes everything else.
That's true.
Then my favorite pick here would be the number 5 answer. What's my pick of this list, Z?
Long meetings.
That's right.
Wow.
All right.
All right.
Oh, Z, what did you pick again?
I picked noisy neighbors.
Oh, never mind. There's not a tie after all.
Wow. I want an audit. Because this guy
Don't
can't
worry.
count.
The tie doesn't affect you. Number 4 is noisy neighbors, giving Z 2. Number 3, just barely beating out noisy neighbors, car trouble. Number 2, being stuck in traffic.
Oh, come on.
And number 1, easily winning, slow internet.
Slow internet is not no internet, which is a completely different thing. Slow
No, I
is
think
it's
one thing.
worse.
Slow
Okay,
internet's
it's
worse,
worse.
because at least you're like sitting there going, come on.
It's
At
the
least you know
idea
you're like,
of
I'll read a
hope,
book.
Okay, that's the worst thing. Come on now.
Final scores.
Casey
Mr.
wins.
Bonacor with 13, Z with 18, and Casey with 19.
The day is mine.
Oh, Casey pulled out the lead.
Yes, baby. Congratulations, sir.
Nice.
Good work.
Oh man. And now you, Bonacor, for being last, you win a free year supply of slow internet.
There you have it.
I already have it.
I'm going to send you a disc in the mail of Netscape of Net Zero. Is that what it was called? Net Zero. What was that?
I already have
Dial
it.
up, baby.
I have Comcast Xfinity. I already have it. Don't worry. We've talked about
Oh, you're
these
good.
things.
You're
All
good.
right,
We've talked about
Casey,
this.
thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
It's always good to come on and whoop these guys. I appreciate it. And great come from behind, Z. 0 to 18.
I know. Almost. That was I got lucky there with some of you two being so generous and giving me points.
I'm
Alrighty.
happy for Casey. I'm not happy for Z. That's all I'm saying, right?
Let's go to some more contributors.
Hello, and welcome back to Retro Board Game Corner. Here I have Knight Rider, published in 1982 by Parker Brothers. This is a 2 to 4 player game in which you're using Kit, the supercar, to stop trouble from around the city. As a side note, there's also a Knight Rider card game and a German version of the game, which I might get to at a later date. Let me set this up and show you how it works. This is what the game board will look like set up. Every player is going to pick a color, and they're going to start here in one of the 4 corners. The Kit car starts here on this truck. You're going to randomly shuffle these 8 red discs and place them on the board. Every player is also going to get 2 cards that match their car color. At the beginning of the game, you need to determine who's going to start as the Kit car, and you'll do that by rolling this special 6-sided dice. It doesn't go from 1 to 6, but it goes in 2s. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Whoever rolls the highest gets to start as the Kit car and will move that car instead of their own color. The object of the game is to try to pick up as many of these red trouble spots on the board, and you can only do that if you're the Kit player. So you'll go ahead and roll the 6-sided dice and move in any direction, and if you land on a trouble spot, you just go ahead and pick that up and now lay that face down in front of you. The Kit player's turn is over, and then play will continue clockwise, and each player will move their own color car. When you're a regular color car, the only thing you can do is try to take control of Kit, and you need to do that by landing on the space where the kit car is, but not by exact count, and then you'll play a game of chicken. When you play a game of chicken, each player will take their 2 cards that they have secretly and put one down, and the other player will put a card down. And at the same time, you will go ahead and flip them over. If you swerve to miss Kit, you go ahead and take control of Kit. But if this was the result where you get on a head-on collision, since Kit is invincible, whoever was controlling Kit still controls Kit. If you were successful in controlling Kit, you take control of Kit, take another turn moving the Kit car where your car stays in the same space that you left it on. And then you can go ahead and start going for the trouble spots around the board as being the Kit player. If you end your turn on one of these gas station spots, all you do is go ahead and roll the dice and take another turn. But you have to land on these spaces by exact count. The game will continue until there's no more trouble spots on the board. After that's done, everybody will go ahead and count up their money. Whoever has the highest total will win the game. Knight Rider ran for 4 seasons from 1982 to 1986, with a made-for-TV movie in 1991 titled Knight Rider 2000. In 2008, they rebooted the series, but it only lasted 1 season. Well, that's all the time I have for now. If you have a comment below, or you can tweet at me at RetroBoardGamer. And as always, may your rolls be high.
All right, we're back at it again with Board Game Breakfast. I am Brian Drake, and we're talking all things 3D printing, both resin and FDM style. That's the extrusion kind. Last week, we took a look at 2 different programs that you can use to get the best from your prints. Today, we're going to look at where you can find some different prints, some different models and different things. Some that are useful, some that are incredible looking, and then other places you can find some great things for board games. So let's take a look right now at Thingiverse, and we'll show you some amazing looking prints that you can get right now. So this is Thingiverse.com. Again, this isn't sponsored. This is just the best place to get them. I want you just to see, as you pull up the home page, just the wild assortment of types of things that you can 3D print. Now, notice right here on the very front page is something clearly can be used for gaming. So let's type in something. Let's type in board games right here. I don't know if that's 1 word or 2. I'm pretty sure it's 1 word, but Lord have mercy, I'll find out when I'm wrong. So little things like this. I'll tell you what, let's type in a specific game, for instance. How about Mansions of Madness? Here's one of my favorite things that you can do. So look at this. Check these out, these doors, these door files, these different things that you can set up like these here for your tokens to barricades. There's these things here that are just, you know, all sorts of, there's dividers and stuff. There's the 3D versions of these. Or what about Grand Austria Hotel? Let's check another one. Austria Hotel. You say, well, what would that come in helpful for? Check these out. You can have 3D strudel and 3D coffee and 3D wine glasses and 3D cake, and then you can paint it up and have this beautiful looking little resources instead of just the cubes that are in the game. So all sorts of stuff that you can do in Thingiverse. I mean, anything you can imagine. Let's type in Mandalorian for a second. So not for gaming, but a piece that you can imagine here. Look at this. These are amazing. This one doesn't even require supports. Here's a helmet. These can be resin printed. This one's got both. You can print them both together here. Check that out. That's a great looking file. So many things you can find. They're all free on Thingiverse. Some of them have certain licenses. Obviously, you can't sell certain things if they put that in their license, but you download the file. It gives you a second, gives you some info. You have it, and you open it right up in one of those files, the programs we talked about last week. So those are some great ideas. Get started. Let me know what you have in the comments below. Let me know what machines you have in the comments below. And let me know what you've printed in the past and what you want to see printed. So that is it for Board Game Breakfast. I will see you all next week.
Hey there, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate.
And today we're taking a look at King Domino Duel by Blue Orange Games.
You're probably familiar with King Domino, the very popular tile-laying game. Well, this is a roll and write version that is made for 2 players. It's King Domino Duel. Let's take a look at it down below, and then we'll ask the non-gamer her thoughts on this.
In King Domino Duel, rounds are divided into 4 stages. First, dice are rolled. Second, players divvy up the 4 dice to make their dominoes. Third, filling the map, where players will draw their selected dominoes either adjacent to the castle or matching coat of arms. And fourth, filling in the spellbook, where players race to get special spells by filling in boxes for any coat of arms they took that didn't contain high dignitaries. Once someone fills all of the map, or both players are unable to add any more dominoes, players will score each domain by multiplying the coat of arms in a domain by the high dignitaries. Most points wins.
And now we're going to ask Sam, the non-gamer, her pros and cons when it comes to King Domino Duel. So Sam, what were some of the things that you enjoyed about this game?
Well, I'm a big fan of King Domino, and I really felt like this game just kind of took it to a different level. I wouldn't say higher or lower. It's a little bit different. It's a lot of fun. Some of the different actions are much different than the regular King Domino, and I feel like it just added something to the game.
A new leaf, if you will,
Yeah.
with this game series. Yeah, for sure.
And I like how small it is, easy to travel with, pretty quick.
Absolutely. Any cons?
I mean, maybe the fact that you can only play it with 2 players, but that's really just my opinion. Other than that, I think it's a great game.
All right, fantastic. Scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. What do you give this one?
I really liked it. I'd probably give it a 7.8.
7.8, wow. Better than the regular King Domino?
It's hard to say. I've played that one so much. This is just different and fun. I still think both of them, I rate them both pretty high.
There you go, there you go.
For Sam, I'm Lance, and this was Love to Hate.
All right, folks, let's take a look here at the news. So, just recently I reviewed Descent, the new version of Descent, and it has very heavy usage of the app. Well, Hasbro doesn't want to be left in the dust. There's an app for their upcoming Hero Quest. This is being released late 2021. I guess that's when they're fulfilling their the Pulse, which is their version of Kickstarter. So you're going to be able to use the app to play as the bad guy. In the game, you actually need someone to play the bad guy. I don't know. This is interesting.
So the app's going to allow you to just play without like a DM. I know it's not a DM, but like someone playing against you, you can just have the app do that for you.
Yeah.
Sounds good. That's great. I love being able to turn a 1 versus all game into just co-op with an app.
Yeah, I mean, I like 1 versus many type games, but this is a great option when you don't want to have that. I almost feel dirty that I backed this game. Because,
yeah, you know what? I'm right there with you. I have the same feeling.
I literally, I don't have an emotional connection to Hero Quest because I didn't play it when I was younger. For whatever reason, it just and I played plenty of games. It just wasn't. But I saw all the chrome they were putting into it, and I was like, I got it. And so having a real basic dungeon crawling game that doesn't, not rules intensive was a good idea, but I feel dirty. I'm happy they're doing this, so this will actually help.
I think you won't be a huge fan of the game because it's really light. I mean, really, I played it recently, and I was like, wow, this is much lighter than I remember.
Yeah, I feel dirty.
All right, our next piece of news is not about a party at Mr. Bonacor's house. The Gathering of the Wicked.
Wow.
This is a remake of Werewolves of Miller's Hollow, or just Werewolves. Werewolves of Miller's Hollow is the Asmodee version, which they said in their press release has sold, I think, over 2 million copies. That's a lot considering that's just one version of Werewolf that exists, because we have Ultimate Werewolf from Ted Alspach. Looney Labs has a version of Werewolf. There's probably other companies out there making it. So this it looks like Werewolf, but then just all the different characters have special abilities and you're playing the Disney villains.
Yeah. Okay. Cute, a little underwhelming, especially since I think that Bezier Games kind of had, it's cornered the market on all of it. I look forward to the release of their.
I'm wondering if this is a complete reskin of Werewolf or if it's a different game, because in Werewolf you have the werewolves against the villagers. Here you have wicked people against wicked people, or are there villagers? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And do these characters have special abilities that are new to this box, or is it just sort of like, oh, this is the hunter, this is the seer, whatever, from Werewolf? Yeah, I don't know. I'm with Steven on this one. It's a little underwhelming, whatever this is.
All righty. Well, I remember 10 years ago, people complained a lot about the fact that the Herbert estate was not giving out the license to anybody. They must have suddenly gone, we like money, because now they're giving it out to everybody. So we have another Dune game coming. This is Dune Betrayal. This is from Gale Force 9, and it is from Don Eskridge, who designed the Resistance. So I think we can say it's a social deduction game. Also, it says that in the press release.
Right. Yeah, so this makes me excited because I love the Resistance.
Really, I'm more excited about the villain one than I am about this one.
No, I love the Resistance. So hopefully Don has done a different take on the Resistance, which is a phenomenal game. And it's same player count. So I mean, this is cool. I just hopefully it's a departure from what the Resistance is to make it more different and interesting.
It does seem like suddenly Dune-themed games, especially the movie version, which is what people seem to have the rights to, are flooding the market. This is, what, 4 in about a year's span, maybe less time than that.
I think there's 5, actually, but yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, I guess. I mean, the Dune Imperium, I've played. I like that game. I think it's a great game. And I haven't seen the movie. Obviously, it's not out. And I'm not a Dune fan. I'm not that well versed in it. I don't really know it. And that game works. It's fine. But then all of these other ones, like this one feels like I need to go in there prepared to bring my own sort of emotional attachment to Dune to really get the most out of this. And I just don't have it. So I wonder if this is going to continue in some of the other upcoming Dune games, that you need to bring a lot to the table yourself, your knowledge, quotes from the movie, just getting into that world a little more.
I'm thinking that the movie is going to be phenomenally big, so that we're all going to re-energize or just establish Dune knowledge in our heads. The last touch of Dune I had really was the movie from the early 80s, which was a great movie if you knew the story already. If you knew the story, it made sense. So I watched that movie. I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. So hopefully the movie's going to be as good as the hype is, and therefore we're going to want to play these games. Yeah. No,
that's a good point.
All right, well, speaking of movies, now we're going to go back an old movie. This is from Modiphius Entertainment. They announced a game based on James Bond. This movie is called Spectre, but it is not based on the new movie Spectre. It's based on the organization Spectre, which I guess has been around in James Bond for a long time. And what's hilarious to me is the villain here on the front of the box. I think it's Dr. No, right?
I believe, yes, that is Dr. No, I believe.
Right. And so when that came out, that's a big deal. But I think Austin Powers has so co-opted this look, and that tagline there, "Can you be number one with that guy?" I instantly thought, oh, this is a funny game. It's not, but it's just weird how that's happened.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Well, that's Goldfinger, right?
Oh, that's right. Oh, I got the wrong one.
Anyway, this game looks pretty interesting. I'm really hoping this is good. You're going to be one of the villains, and you're all fighting with each other to be number one for Spectre. And it has locations and weapons and stuff. It looks neat on the back of the box. I'm pretty interested. And it has a really good design team. Antoine Bauz is involved.
Yeah.
And Ludovic Montblanc and Theo Rivera. And there's like 6 designers here. I can't pronounce almost all their names.
Yeah, it's cool. This looks neat. And Modiphius has made some really neat themed games in the past. They did the Thunderbirds game they've put out in the past. Is a really good game. I like it quite a bit.
Kung Fu Panda, I like that one.
So yeah, this is neat. I really don't love the cover. I wish that they would have gone for something a little more dynamic. But
it's Dr. Evil, by the way.
Yeah.
No.
Dr. Evil is the Austin Powers one.
Saying that it's Blofeld is his name. The movie Dr. No name was Blofeld.
Okay. I apologize to get the guys. But again, I've only seen that movie that this guy's in maybe once. But this guy, the bad guy with a cat, became such a thing. It was an Inspector Gadget. It's like the trope. Austin Powers took it even farther, but it's that thing, right?
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
I love James Bond. I love everything about James Bond. I can't wait to see this.
All right. Now we have Boon Lake from Alexander Pfister from Capstone Games with a very striking cover. The top half, a polluted city, and the bottom half, a pristine lake with a lotus flower in the middle. I really like that cover.
Yeah, very nice.
What's the game about? It's Fister,
It's
which
originally
is good.
DLP Games, and you're improving your life and your group's life in a new territory. I'm trying to find out how it plays. It's a follow-up to the last two games that these companies did together was Maracaibo and Cloud Age. So there's project cards. It's hard to tell here exactly, but it doesn't matter. It's Alexander Pfister. I'm in.
It's going to be a big Euro.
Yeah, exactly. It's, these released, the sort of material that they release every time they announce one of these games always kind of sounds the same. Innovative new action mechanism, or innovative new, mechanism with which you will grow your empire, or whatever. It's like, okay, great. It's innovative. Great.
It's a big game too. $70 retail, 165 project cards, 150 wooden pieces. So this is going to be a biggie. And DLP Games that's kind of their niche, the heavy Euros. So this could be good.
It's a good looking board. I do like that board.
Yep.
All righty. So
Maracaibo.
Yes. Well, thank you. Speaking of Maracaibo, the Uprising. This is an expansion for Maracaibo where there's a campaign, which there was a campaign in the original game, whatever. It's just a series of games. But more scenarios and more stuff for the game. So players are now the indigenous people under colonial bondage trying to liberate the cities. So it's interesting. I don't know how this expansion will change the game. I mean, it sounds like a different game almost. So we'll just have to wait and see how it plays.
Cool. Coming out November in the U.S. and October in Germany.
All right, Restoration Games announced a lot of things last month. One of them was the Omega Virus. So now they're doing kind of a viral marketing by releasing a mini game here, Omega Virus Prologue, a real-time tableau building game. It's not the Omega Virus. They keep saying that and everything because I think people get, what, Omega Virus is out? No, it's not out. It's just a small little game here. Is it out now? Like you can print it, or it's coming out soon? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but I have seen their marketing for it, and there is a lot of, like, I do like the sort of vibe they're going with here. Now, the Omega Virus itself, have you guys played the original? Either one of you?
Nope.
I played it once. It has the most annoying robotic opponent in history. It's just a jerk. He'll be like, you're going to lose, like the whole time.
Okay.
That's funny.
I've never played it either, and it's a game from 1992, it says here. And this is coming to, I believe, I guess they haven't really talked about, but I'm assuming this is going to be a Kickstarter from them.
I'm guessing so. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, you should be able to play out this small 2-player game. It says Q3 2021, so that's now-ish or very soon.
Amigo has some exciting news. They invented time travel because they've stayed in the present and got the great Uwe Rosenberg on board to design a game for them. And then they went to the 80s and got the cover. And this is in Tulpenfieber. That's a terrible cover, Zeke. Tell me it's a good cover.
No, it's not a good cover, but I wouldn't say it's like horrifically bad.
Well, yeah,
There's
but
plenty of bad covers.
I was talking to Mike about this. Everything about this, except for the name Uwe Rosenberg, that board looks boring. The description is boring. You're like moving tulips around in a field. Maybe if it had better artwork and stuff, I'd be more excited. But whew. And I
think you're
Amigo
overestimating how exciting other Rosenberg games are. In their look, I mean.
No, I just played New York Zoo from Capstone Games, and that game looks amazing.
Okay, but most of his games look like this. They don't look exciting. They're great games, but they don't look captivating. They're just good. This might be great.
They should
this might
look
be a great
captivating.
game. I agree with that. I agree. This is a 2-player only game, I assume. So the
Nope.
cover
1 to 4.
Oh, okay. So that's a problem with the cover. The cover makes it look like it is red tulips versus blue tulips, head-to-head game. So I think the cover falls down there. I think the cover should tell you something about the game you're about to play, and this one is misleading.
I'm just astonished at how many games about tulips have been published.
That's the truth of it.
Fever, baby.
Now that was a thing. I mean, that is a historical thing that there was this bubble in the tulip market.
Scott Nicholson designed a whole board game around it.
He did, but there's been literally like 5 games around tulips. Now I wouldn't have known this was a tulip thing until I read it, because I don't know that I didn't realize that the name is obviously Tulip Fever, right? Tulip Fever.
Yeah, Tulip Fever.
But it's pretty interesting. I don't hate the cover. The boards are very generic, though.
Another cover I'm not loving is Harmonia. This is from Skelling Games. And this is a follow-up to a previous game where they did Sagani. And this answers an unresolved question from the previous game, which I love. Like, what is the origin of the harmonious melodies forged in the sound discs that awaken the spirits of nature? Who asked that question?
I own Sagani. I think it's a neat game. And I'll tell you, the one thing I always walked away thinking every time I played Sagani was, where is this music coming from?
Where is it coming from? It doesn't make any sense. We need to know this.
I wish somebody would come out with a piece of literature, maybe a novel, a TV series, or even a game that answers that question. And here we go, finally. Harmonia can quench my thirst for knowledge.
Shouldn't it be like Harmonia?
Sure, why not?
Almost like
anyway,
ammonia.
Do you like Sagani then, Z?
Sagani's neat. Yeah, Sagani is it's based on the really popular one. The that had the moon. What was that game called? I don't know. Somebody's gonna put it in the comments. That was like an award nominee where you would move around this little moon shape and collect tiles and make like a little tile grid. I can't remember what it's called.
Luna,
anyway,
right?
Not Luna. Luna is the Stefan Feld game. People will say it in the comments.
I never played Sagani. I don't even remember seeing this one.
It's a very similar game. So, yeah, it's very abstract. It's just, again, kind of like a tile laying thing. And so this has the same look. Sort of cute monsters is the look. And that's nice. Definitely not the kind of game I ever thought needed a sequel, that's for sure. And I don't know if this is very different of a game or not.
Nova Luna.
All I got here is the cover.
Z.
Nova Luna. There we go. Nova Luna.
Of course.
All right. Knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe has made a deck building game from Renegade Games. I think looking at this may be, I can't tell if this is a new game because it's done by, I think Matt Hydra is doing this, right?
No, this is a T.C. Petty, the third game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So then this is a completely new game. That's interesting.
I'm assuming this is not, it kind of looks like it should be, right? But I don't think this is one of those Cerberus games.
No. But Matt Hydra designed the Power Rangers game. I have it right here. I'm going to be reviewing it next week. You can tell it's the same designer as the Cerberus engine, but it's a different game.
Maybe this is that system.
No, but it says T.C. Petty.
It does.
Interesting. I mean, I'm excited about G.I. Joe. I'm less excited about a deck building G.I. Joe game. Like, I think G.I. Joe would want to move Snake Eyes and the little guys around and fight, right? Deck building, I don't know. What do you think?
I am not excited about G.I. Joe. Again, that was something I did when I was 12 years old.
You were 30 when it came out.
Played with G.I. Joe dolls or something like that, but no, that's me. I'm not hooked into this IP in the slightest bit. Deck building is deck building. A good game is a good game. So I'd like to see how this plays out. The artwork is gorgeous. I love the way it looks.
Very profound words. Deck building is deck building. A good game is a good game. Thank you.
I do like the way it looks. I like the artwork, but I know nothing about G.I. Joe. And deck building was my number one pick for mechanisms.
Overdone.
I think are overdone. So it seems like, I hate to say this because I know a lot of work goes into this. Don't get me wrong, but it just seems like if you've got an IP, you finally, you bought the rights to that IP, and you don't know what to do with it. It's a deck building game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I don't know. That always feels to me a little bit like underwhelming. I want to see something more interesting than this. I mean, this looks like, I look at this cover and I think of the very first DC Comics deck building game cover that came out. What's that, a decade ago now?
Yeah.
It looks like they could have come out the same day, I don't know.
Well, we'll see. All right, Portal Games announced the Hiroshima Hex app. Now, you might say, it already exists. It does.
It already exists.
It does, but they're redoing it, and I think the last one hasn't been updated for a while. They're just redoing it, I think.
Last time I tried playing, it was not working, basically. I think they just sort of let that one go, or whoever was the company behind it has let it go, and they brought this in-house, right? Like, they're developing it.
I think so, but here's the good news, folks. Before you get up into arms, if you bought the previous version, you get the new one for free.
What about all the armies I purchased?
You take up with Ignacy. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm trying to stave off rage here.
Yeah. We just also announced this on Board Games Insider, and it's he's very excited about it. And he did say you get the game for free. I don't know about the armies and stuff like that. But
well, I better get the armies for free. I paid for all of them to unlock all of them. Tell Ignacy to give me a call. How about that?
I know a guy. I'll take care of it.
Some things I want to say to you.
The next piece of news I found to be very interesting. So WebSphere, a company I didn't hear of till I read this piece of news, acquires Flying Buffalo. Now, there's some history involved here. Flying Buffalo was started by Rick Loomis, who its most famous game was Nuclear War, a card game that was out for, 30 years, whatever. Rick Loomis was the president of Gamma for a very long time. And every convention I went to at Origins for a long time, Rick Loomis would sit there at his booth selling the Nuclear War and whatever else he had, selling at that booth. He was like Tunnels and Trolls. He was a staple there, and he passed away in 2019.
Yep.
So WebSphere bought it, but what I didn't know is a couple things. First of all, WebSphere had already bought Toy Vault, which is Toy Vault. They had a lot of IPs. Most of their games aren't very good, but I didn't know that. But more interesting to me, WebSphere is owned by John Ward, who was the Origins director for a decade. Gamma and him parted ways in 2019 also, around the same time. So this is really intriguing to me. They're going to be at Gen Con, so I'm going to swing by. I haven't seen John since, for a few years now. So I thought that'd be interesting. Him and his wife, looks like, are running this company. Do you know anything about this?
I don't. This is actually news to me. I also haven't seen
news
John
to
since
everybody.
then.
It's the news.
Thank you, Z. I appreciate that. So it looks as you're saying that John is increasing his presence with buying some older IPs. It'd be interesting to see because the stuff by Loomis, the stuff by Flying Buffalo was very iconic, and as it's mentioned in the article, and as I think you said, this stuff like almost started some of the industry in a lot of ways, and Rick Loomis certainly, being the president of Gamma for so long. It's going to be interesting to see if he's just going to republish the games, right? Nuclear War, right? That was the big one, and Tunnels and Trolls.
I don't know if these games, like they're very old games, right? They feel like they need to be redone.
They're very old games. So would you take the IP and kind of bring it, modernize it? I guarantee there'll be an audience for a new that maybe was more interesting. The old games, War, it's very old. In its mechanics. So I'm interested to see how this is going to play out. Hopefully I'll see John like you will at Gen Con. Be very good.
All right, let's jump to Asmodee, the company that buys everybody. If you remember a bit ago, we talked about them buying Plan B Games. They bought a company from Sophie Gavel twice. They bought her company. Well, they didn't want her to go off and start Studio C or Plan C or whatever. So instead, they've just hired her to run Z-Man Games. You say, but wait, Z-Man Games is run by Steve Kimball. Maybe you don't say that. You might not know that stuff, right?
If you say that, you're an insider, my friend.
Although, listen, Steve Kimball. So anyway, that's the news in that regard. But I want to talk about Steve Kimball for a second. If you get a chance, go to zmangames.com. And Steve wrote a blog there talking about his history in gaming. And he's really been involved. He was spearheaded X-Wing when that came out. He helped with Star Wars Rebellion. And he talks about these different things. He's now being promoted to Director of Special Projects. So he's going to be helping us. He talked about working with Corey Kineska with his new branding, which is, I forget the name of that.
The
branding.
initiative is the game, but the company.
Right. The initiative. So anyway, he's going to be working on that. Anyway, it's a very good blog if you get a chance to read it. So this is also interesting because we had all been talking about, will Sophie start another company? Well, she's not going to be if she's running Z-Man. How will this change Z-Man and stuff? I don't know that it will change it much at all, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, it's a very unexpected name, Tom.
That's the name of the company. Good job.
Unexpected Games is the name of the company, yes.
That's Corey's company, right?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Yes. So anyway, Steve Kimball, awesome dude. The promotion is fantastic. Director of Special Projects. I could see a huge need, within Asmodee for someone who then basically takes the lead on doing some big strategic things that they're going to need to do over the next few years to consolidate things, to create new branches of that company. So couldn't think of a better guy. Kudos to Steve on that new position. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and he knows his stuff, so.
Yeah.
And finally, a very popular game from Ravensburger, Horrified, using the Universal Studios Monsters, came out a few years ago in 2019. Very popular game. What everyone's been talking is there going to be an expansion. Will they add the extra monsters? Well, no, they're doing something different. They made a sequel to it. They're not compatible as far as I can tell, called Horrified American Monsters, where they're using classic, folklore monsters. The word for this is cryptid, right? Bigfoot,
Cryptids,
Mothman, cryptids, the Chupacabra, Ozark Howler, things like that. I'm curious. This is obviously not going to have the drawing power, the monster-wise. Like, I don't think a lot of people go around like, oh, the Jersey Devil. They'll think you're talking about a hockey team. No, I'm serious. But I mean, we don't sit around and, the Chupacabra is kind of a thing in the background, while Frankenstein and Dracula are much more in the presence. At the same time, I'm pretty excited about this. I think it's neat.
They picked legends.
I like this. I really like this theme.
All right, they've actually picked urban legends or country legends. Bigfoot, the Jersey Devil, the Chupacabra versus like all those classic things. Yeah, I think this is kind of cool.
I don't think you can mix them though.
With the other monsters.
I don't think so.
You mean thematically, Tom, or like actually mechanically?
I mean mechanically. I don't think so.
No, I don't think you can mix them because there's a deck of cards in the game which propels forward monster activation and things like that. Oh. And you couldn't mix those cards from the new one with the old one. Unless they have some new answer to that problem, it's pretty hard to not only combine these, but to expand the original would be very tricky.
I think they would have announced that they would have been compatible, honestly.
Right,
That's,
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like Horrified, but I have to say I'm more excited about this theme than classic movie monsters. I like this better.
Well, I like classic movie, but this is cool too. But this is cool.
Do.
You're
That's the news, folks. Thanks for watching. Let's keep going.
Hello, my name's Jonathan from Board Game Opinions, and in this series of segments I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to teach a board game. And this week's tip is play the game before you try teaching it. How can you do that? Surely you have to teach the game to people so that you can then play the game. You can't play the game by yourself, or can you? What I actually do is I play the game with my son beforehand. So he loves playing new games, and we'll get it out, I'll muddle through the rules. I don't really do a great explanation with him, but he doesn't care. He just likes having a go. We'll try a bit of this, try a bit of that, and have some fun. But getting that experience before you then try and teach it for real makes a big difference. Now, if you don't have a little gaming buddy living in your house, then the other option is to play like a solo mode version of the game. Many games, even heavy Euros, will come with a solo mode, so you can play through the game by yourself beforehand. Failing that, you can just set the game up for 2 or 3 players and play through a few turns, taking each player at a time. Now, you don't need to play through the entire game. If you just do 2 or 3 turns, it makes a huge difference. There is no substitute for experience.
Doctor, I'm really worried about this operation. You've done it before, haven't you?
Well, I haven't actually done the operation before, but I read a book explaining how to do it. Don't worry, you'll be fine. It's much easier to explain how to play a game to people when you've already played the game before. It's one thing to have read the rules, but to actually have that practical experience makes a huge difference. And there's no reason why you can't get it before you explain it for real with your friends. Alright, hopefully that helps. Next week I'll be giving you another tip on how to improve your teaching of board games. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Hey there everyone, it's Jen, the board game librarian, flipping some pages and pushing some cubes with my segment From the Page to the Table, where I pair books and board games together and everyone's happy. This is by the same company, Tapestry Comics, and this is Bayeux, pardon my terrible French. This takes place right after King Edward has died in 1066, roughly. So we have the Norman invasion that is just about to happen here. What I love about this comic series is the educational aspect in here. I learned a lot about some of the other people that were not William the Conqueror, which was good. I feel like William gets all the, the everything in history. So this fleshed out a little bit of his story, and I love books and comic books where I learn something and then I want to go and learn more about it. That's the power of books, right, folks? PSC had sent us Britannia. This was the newer edition that they reprinted a couple of years ago. This is 2 to 4 players, 90 to 120 minutes, ages 14 and up. Matt and I played the dual version, which is the shorter version of Britannia in the reprint. And you are starting from a time that's a little before 1066, but everything that's happening in this game really sets up the stage for 1066. It is a light war game, light miniatures war game, where you are rolling dice and kind of going along a prescribed sheet in terms of each year, what you can bring out, who you can bring out, and who and what moves where. I think it's a good introductory war game too, because it kind of gives you steps to go along and it's not super overwhelming. And as always, happy breakfast, everyone.
Hey, that's it for another show, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you again to Casey for coming on and playing the game with us at the beginning. Thank you, Mr. Bonacker, for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Garcia. We'll see you all soon. This is it for live stuff today, folks, but we have lots of videos going up. Later on today, I'll be ranking all the unlocked scenarios. Ooh. And we got more live stuff coming up tomorrow. We'll be drafting some Magic cards. We'll see you then. Until then, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
Stephen Bonacore.
Have fun playing games.